You're good at speaking. Heck, you even may enjoy it, but you're just not sure how to use speaking to make a sale or how to use speaking to convert. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to look at speaking completely differently from how you've been doing it, so that every time you speak, you know what to do so that you can convert. I've shown this to so many audiences, and this is the fundamental part of when people go from just mere speaking to convert. I mean, it's going to be, I can't even find a word for it, but it's going to be like for your mind. Subscribe to this channel for all things to do with speaking to convert and emotional intelligence, because mindset matters when you speak, and so the two go hand in hand. I'm going to show you how on this channel. So make sure you click the subscription button and make sure you click the bell to make sure to find out when the next video is going to be released. One of my clients took what I'm going to be teaching you in this video, did a simple 10-minute presentation, and was able to close a client in a mere 10 minutes. You ready? There is a difference between an information, education, keynote presentation, and what I'm talking about, to speak to convert, which is what's called your signature talk. So an information, education keynote versus a signature talk. And so what is the difference? I'm going to just change the way you see the whole platform of speaking and how you've done it so that you can speak to convert. An information session, say it's someone, a premier, a prime minister, a president, a mayor, getting up and talking about COVID-19, 1.5 meter distance, wash your hands, do this, do that. It's information. It's a shopping list of things that is given to someone so that they can remember. That's an information session. An education session is what happens at university, is what happens at college, school. You get given a whole gamut of content, and then you're supposed to filter that through and then hopefully regurgitate that in some exam, lesson, assignment somehow. And that's education sessions. Keynote presentations, I mean, YouTube is filled with it. Motivational speaking, you can do it. You've got the power. Empowerment talks that really enthuse you, that light a fire beneath you and get you to want to go and do something about what you need to do. And they're all great. They have their time and their place to be used. But when you are looking to speak, and when you're wanting to market and sell, an information education keynote doesn't serve that purpose. Instead, what you want to be looking at is what's called the signature talk. And a signature talk is what enables you to speak to convert. I'm going to show you on this video the similarities of speaking, and then I'm going to show you the differences between these two so that you can see for yourself. So, okay, the similarity between an information education keynote and a signature talk is anytime you speak, you get instant credibility. How? There is a difference, or actually there is a perception, I should say. There's a perception that the person who speaks knows more, understands more, has greater insight than the person who is listening. It may not be true, but that is the perception, that the person who speaks has a greater level of knowledge, insight, understanding, know-how than the person who's listening. Therefore, speaking on its own gives you this upliftment of credibility. Like it just puts you on a platform above and beyond any kind of marketing, social media, advertising, mail drops, networking, business cards. They're all great, but speaking just gives you that higher level of perception, which is why it works. Another reason why speaking is so important, because I'm talking about similarities here, is that it gives you increased reach. It's not just talking one-on-one like you would at networking or giving a business card to someone or having one set of eyeballs watch one video or having one set of eyeballs looking at a post. Increased reach means that you're speaking one to many, at least one other person, at least two other people, 3, 4, 5, 100, 200, however many people there are. That increases your reach. increases the ability for what you're saying, the impact it would have to extend beyond just one person. That's another reason why speaking is just amplified and gives you a greater level of platform. Feedback. Another reason why speaking works so well is it gives you immediate feedback. If you have a website, it's going to take time for you to get traffic, that traffic to let you know whether what you've got on is resonating well, whether it converts, whether people consume your blog, your content, whatever it is. But when you speak, heck, you get immediate feedback. People are going to tell you whether or not they want to work with you or not if you make an offer by saying yes to what you've got on offer or saying no. And that's so beautiful because you don't have to spend months and years of time and effort and resources creating this product or service only to try to find buyers. Instead, you can go and actually deliver a signature talk, deliver a talk, make an offer, and if people purchase, there's a demand. If people don't, there's no demand, or you go to a different audience. And so you're testing out so much more seamlessly, so much more easily. You're testing an audience, testing your product or service before you actually go and create it. And that's just brilliant. Now here come the differences. The difference between an information education keynote and a signature talk is this. You're giving everything away. When you deliver an information session, you just like this is it. Like this is like, a download of everything you know is what you got to have. Same with a keynote, same with an information session, same with an education session. But with a signature talk, you don't give everything away. Why? Because a person needs to process what you're saying. The confused mind, the overwhelmed mind says, stand back, like give me a second, like says no. So when you overwhelm someone with too much information, too much content, then it just shuts down because it doesn't know how to filter it. It needs time to digest. If you have a big meal, it's going to take time to like digest that food, right? It's going to take time before you can go and maybe have a piece of dessert. It's the same with the brain. It needs time to take information. And if you give too much, then it just kind of closes itself. It shuts off. And it's the same thing is that if you do an information education keynote and you don't give enough information. And so for a signature talk, it's a fine balance between not overwhelming someone and not underwhelming someone. Not giving so much information away or content away that it overwhelms someone to the point of, I need to breathe. So that's the first difference. The second difference between an information education keynote and a signature talk is that you really want to make sure that you don't just say, by the way, like an information education keynote, they kind of do, if you want to buy my book, by the way, if you want to buy my book, here it is. If you want to be able to do my course, here it is. They try and tack on the word by the way or something along those lines of by the way and introduce their product or service and ask people to purchase it. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it doesn't convert. So if you're going to do the thing that you do on a daily basis, which is speak, you may as well learn how to do it in a way that allows people to want to take the next step with you. And in a signature talk, you're never going to say, by the way, if you want to kind of work with me, purchase my book, work on my program with me, come to my coaching program, consult with me. You never tack on the word, by the way. Everything in a signature talk is structured in a way that allows someone the space to think about what you're saying, gain insight in how to actually apply what you're talking about, and allow them to make sure that when you do make an offer, and I'm going to show you how throughout these videos, when you get to that point of making an offer, it becomes seamless. So I want to ask you, if you've ever actually delivered a signature talk, have you ever delivered a signature talk? If you have, please let me know below. If you've only ever delivered an information education keynote, which is fine because they serve a purpose, but they don't serve a purpose when you're looking to sell or market or use it for your business. So let me know if you've ever delivered a signature talk. Give me a yes or a no below. The other major, huge, big difference between an information education keynote and a signature talk is that the signature talk generates leads. You can actually make sales when you're doing it, when you're delivering the talk. And actually, it's very quick and easy to get into business. Because like I said, you go and deliver a talk, you go and see if there's a market for it. If there is, great. You go create. If there's not, then you know to tweak it, to change it. But you haven't spent time, energy, resources creating something and having crickets. And then the last thing is it actually creates a really huge transformation for your audience, because you're not bombarding someone because you're there. You're in business because you saw a problem and you've got a solution. That's why you do what you do. There's a solution that you have. And the purpose of a signature talk is to communicate that solution so succinctly, so in a way that allows someone to want to go, yes, I want to work with you, or no, I don't. And so to keep it on target, it's just the most exquisite way in order for you to gain rapport, in you to gain credibility, for you to be able to gain the opportunity to be able to reach the people that you want to reach and provide the solution. Now, if you would like to learn how to actually put that offer together that I mentioned, then I've got down below masterclass, a 90-minute masterclass of how I've taught previous clients on how to put your compelling offer so that you can speak to convert. If that interests you, I'll put the link below. Now, the last thing, that's the difference between an information education keynote and a signature talk, is that you start by writing the introduction. Hi, my name is Rita. I'm going to be talking to you about XYZ. Thank you for having me. Blah, 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 blah. You go into it, right? That's how normally a keynote, education, or an information session starts. With a signature talk, we never think about the introduction in the beginning. In the beginning, we never think about the intro. Instead, we reverse engineer it so that the introduction is not what we think about first. The actual end is what we think about first. Where do we want the audience to end up? What do we want the audience to do, be, have, understand, gain more insight, purchase? What do we want them to do? So instead of starting with the intro, we start with the end, and the end is called your offer. We start your signature talk with the offer. That is a fundamental difference, because once we can identify where we want our audience to be when we finish speaking, now we can make sure that we understand how to actually create the introduction, how to actually place the content so that everything lines up to your offer. So when you get to the offer, it's not like a shock to anybody. It's not like a joke to anyone. It's really just a common progression, a very seamless progression to what your audience wants to do. I've taught this to charities. I've taught to get more volunteers and fundraising. I've taught it to people in the health profession. I've taught it to coaches and clients, to so many people, because the moment you start with an introduction, then you're now getting into what you want to talk about. It's all about you and how you want to impart too much information or too little information. But when you start with where do you want people to do, what do you want them to understand, where do you want them to be? So what I'm teaching can be used for any industry, for anything, because your offer is not just what I want them to buy, which you can, what I want them to sign up to, which you can. It can also be, can I get volunteers for my cause? Can I get people to understand this cause that I'm so passionate about? Can I get my people that I'm leading in my community or in my corporate space? I'm a team leader and I want to be able to get my actual team to cross the line here with me. It's about getting them to understand, and that offer is all about how you communicate that. And so that's where we're starting off with. We reverse engineer in a signature talk. And so in my next video, I'm going to show you exactly that. How do you get people from starting from the introduction to starting with the offer? How does that look? How do we go into that? That's going to be in the very next video. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you want to know more and make sure you get all the gems and all the videos that help you to speak to convert, then make sure you click the bell here and you'll get notified with each new release of a video. Now, if you want to learn about how the system works, all my videos that share the current content are over here on these pages. Make sure you check them out so that you see how the whole process works. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on my very next video. Till then, speak to convert.